Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Casey Zeman here. How's it going? Welcome to all my replay viewers. What we're seeing right now, if you are a replay viewer, I see some people that are coming into the live session, but very quickly, I had a question in my Facebook group on how to create a group training session for coaching, for hot seat training. Anyway, in 24 seconds, this is going to be brought into a room that is going to be live for people to join in. And I'm very quickly showing you this to give you first an idea of how this works, and then we'll talk about what exactly it means. Okay, so in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's going to then redirect right now into the live room. There we go. And there is a live session going on right now. Okay. Now, technically, guys, this is not live, but this is exactly what it would look like when you're doing a live session for doing a group coaching. So let me flip this around and explain this to you. And if you're late just getting here, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how to create a group coaching session. This was a question I just got. So let me flip this around. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Casey here. If you guys can hear me, yes, it is. It is actually using Google Hangouts. If you guys can hear me, let me know. Put in the chat 1 if you can hear me. Okay. Looks like you can hear me. I think that's absolutely right. You can hear me. And if this is your first time here, do me a favor and put in the chat teach. Okay. And if you've been here before, to put in the chat learning. So first time here, put in the chat teach. And if you've been here before, put learning. So I had a question. I am so not a fan of Google Hangouts. That's okay. You don't have to be a fan of Google Hangouts. I'm a fan of Google Hangouts because I can do live group coaching sessions like this with up to 10 people. So I'm a fan of it. You may not be a fan of it, but you may not also use it in its full extent. A lot of people don't. And that's what I'm excited to share with you guys about. So hold on one second. Just turn some light on here. Okay. I'm not going to go into what Google Hangout is at the moment. What I want to do is answer this question that I got inside our Facebook group from Priscilla Hinkle. She said, Casey, you did a Periscope several weeks ago where you explained having a hot seat in a coaching program. Do you have that saved? So she asked about creating an experience for coaching someone. So if you're an author, expert, thought leader, coach, or consultant, you're at the right place. I'm talking about what we're going to be talking about is group coaching. Oftentimes, if you have an online online product, or an online business, or building an online business, part of that is either going to be coaching, part of it is products and software that you're offering up. And with that coaching, a lot of people ask, what's a good way, a good platform to coach students, right? To have interaction and engagement with students, whether those students are, one single person that you're doing a one-on-one with, or it's maybe a group coaching. Now, my preference when I do any type of coaching, quote unquote, it's group coaching. Hey Ryan, what's up? Good to see you here. Welcome, man. That's my favorite type of coaching. Right, where it's group, everybody together. We get a lot of people. We get people in one room, and we start doing it. Now, Priscilla's question was, can you explain how that works? Fresh haircut, my man. Thank you. Yes, it is a fresh haircut. You're so right. GH is kind of like Skype then. Kind of, but here's the thing. With Skype, how many people can you have sharing their camera? Only one, right? Just one person. Yeah, no tank top today. That's unfortunate. Yeah, no tank top today. It's just me, just like this in my boxing shirt. So only one in Skype. Or you can have a bunch of people in a Skype group, but you can't ever share your screen. Well, what I use is Google Hangouts. I actually don't. Here's the thing. I don't use Google Hangouts. I use what's called YouTube Live that integrates with Google Hangouts. So that means I can create a YouTube Live event that is private, meaning that only people that I'll bring in can come to it. No one else can find it. It's private. It's called unlisted, right? I have people join me in that private room, which is almost like a conference room. I can have up to 10 people in there, right? But on top of that, yep, I do that on a webinar. Okay, cool, right. So you maybe have seen that before. What then I also do is I add people because they use Google Hangout essentially. They use YouTube Live / Google Hangouts for their webinars. But what I also do is I add that URL, that live stream to Easy Webinar, the software that I use, and of course I am the founder of Easy Webinar. I use that to do my private coaching. Ryan, have you tried using Blab at some point? I've used Blab, but I wouldn't use it for coaching because I don't think I can do private coaching with it. It's open to everybody. I'm talking about doing private coaching calls, stuff for only the people that have paid you top dollar, $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, whatever you're charging your coaching students. This is what I'm talking about. Using these elements, this is high level stuff. This is not, free stuff. We're talking about you bringing them into a room that's completely private and a way for you to sell your products before they even are created. Okay, curious how you use it with Easy Webinar. I have Easy Webinar, but use Zoom for my coaching. Anna, great question. I only use Easy Webinar for my coaching. I use Easy Webinar incorporated with YouTube Live, and I set the YouTube Live event to unlisted so no one sees it except those coming to the Easy Webinar page. So here's how I do it. If I have 20 to 30 group coaching students, I have them all come to a private event where they can watch the event, okay? And then up to 10 of them can join me in the conference room, right? So I allow up to 10 of them to join me in the conference room where we all work on maybe one or two or three people's businesses together, and up to 10 people can kind of rotate through that process if I wanted to let them. Now, what I also do is I create kind of a structure around it to where I have 10 people that come in over on specific sessions, right? So not everybody is stuck in the room where they can't communicate, right? Not everybody every single month is stuck there. Only people that, if people couldn't interact and come into the live conference room in the previous session, maybe now in this session they can. So that's how I run it. I can show you. Want me to show you this? I can turn my screen around so you guys can get an idea for this. I can show you this. Ready? So let me just give you an idea because I think you guys need to kind of get the full picture here of how this works. Okay, so let's do this. Let me flip this around. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is kind of like, this is the Easy Webinar live page, right? And this is a private link that's sent out, right? That they only get access to. Now, this was just me doing a one-on-one coaching with him, as you can see right here. But the thing is, everybody else that is in the coaching can come to this same exact page to watch it, and I can have like things that I might be delivering to them. But here's another example. Let me see if I have another example though, because here, let me go into here. So this is Easy Webinar. So this is kind of how I do it. So let me go in and show you how I did this. I essentially go in. Hold on one second. Totally helpful. Okay, good. Live is more advanced streaming than Hangouts. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's Ray. So what I would do is I would normally, so here's a hot seat training that we did, right? And just imagine that this was done live. So I'm going to go in and show you what this page looks like, okay? So here we have, there's a few people in here, right? Right, and you can have up to literally 10 people in here. This was what I would do for my coaching. I'd have up to 10 of them in here. We go through the process, talk to each one of them individually, get through their business. What is that? This is Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, if you want to call it that. That's integrated. Read your name. I thought it said scare Coach Angry. Nice. What is the distinction between YouTube Live and Google Hangouts? I'll explain that because there really isn't that much of a difference. The difference is that YouTube Live can create a Google Hangout experience, or it can create a different live stream experience. Like you can have different ingestion settings for different live stream, like multiple cameras and all sorts of stuff. Or you can just use Google Hangouts incorporated with YouTube Live. The thing about YouTube Live is that I use it so I can set these events right here, which essentially, yes, is in YouTube, but here's the thing, they're unlisted. So no one can find them, okay? No one can find them inside YouTube. You wouldn't be able to find this if you weren't one of my members of my coaching. So it's not like this is open to anyone. So the live event can happen. It's unlisted, so it's private, okay? And then we have it inside here. Is that Google indexable if you want it to? Is it Google indexable if you want it to? Yeah, but why would you? Yes, you can. But this is, if you're doing a private coaching, you don't want it to be found. This is for your members only. And this is what someone was asking me. How do you do this? How can you sell a product prior to it being done? Well, so you could create a 4-week program, right? And each week, you could have 2 sessions. One session is kind of the main meat program, right? So that's kind of how I did it. 1 week was, like this week I think was engagement. We talked about engagement and then there we go. And then you have some people coming in. So 1 week was engagement. Then we had another, in that same week, I had a session called, now I get it, just thinking about use of YouTube Live for SEO. No, YouTube Live is one of the best things for SEO, to be honest with you. I've had ranking inside doing a YouTube Live faster than any other type of YouTube ranking ever. I would start a YouTube Live event and then rank it for, like, I did it, I tested it out, it works really well. But what I'm showing, and maybe I'll show that at some point in the future, but right now all I'm doing is showing you kind of how I use Easy Webinar to not, obviously you can use it to stream out your automated events or do live events, but how I use it in this way to do private events where everybody that is, people are joining me in what I call the green room, right, which is essentially the Google Hangout link, right, that I kind of created through YouTube Live. But then there are other coaching students that are just watching from this page, right, and they're taking notes, and that's how it works, right? And I give them access to join, but if we're limited to up to 10, they can't come in. Okay, does this make sense? Now I'm excited. I have a brilliant idea now. Thanks to this. Thanks, Casey. No problem. Of course, Anna. I created this because there was a question inside our Facebook group from Priscilla. Priscilla asked about this. Did a Periscope several weeks ago about where you explain how to do a hot seat in a coaching group coaching session. And this is exactly what this is. This is how you would create. This is how I did it. And I sold this program before the actual sessions were even created. This is a coaching program that I sold even beforehand for $5,000, and it's a 12-week session, right? So it's like boom, boom, twice a week, and that's it. Sorry, I didn't quite see what you said earlier, but yeah, this is exactly what this is, and this is how I did it. And people would. The only people that saw it were these people here. Now you could create. Here's the thing. You could create your own landing pages for your own site if you wanted to, but for me personally, I did it this way because all these pages are, unless you don't have to have these like Google searchable. Like these can be links that no one else can access. So you see, I create these as one-time events. So if I created this live stream coaching as a one-time event, if someone were to come back to the links, even my students were to come back through the links that they had previously, it would say no webinar found, which means that it's private onto that time itself. So that's the reason you'd use Easy Webinar, is that you could give out the links for pre-existing students, but if they for some reason tried to share anything, it wouldn't let people back into the room because that webinar is essentially over. So, and you could also privatize the video right after your live session. Does this make sense? So you could privatize the video after the live session. And what I tend to do is I will do that. Like all these videos are inside YouTube, but then I could privatize them inside YouTube and then I put them in a members area, right? So that's how I created content in real time. So I would do a session. Ooh, I'm kind of giving you guys a content creation map that you guys can see. So this is kind of what my students get. Anyway, what I would do is I would create a session here, and then I would go back into this YouTube video, and download it back to my computer and then upload it to Vimeo. Okay, upload it to Vimeo, and then it would be added. And hard to see it, no worries, no problem. And then it would be added in essentially to my members area, right? Here, I'll let you guys see it. Okay, you see that? It's just a little. It's like a mind map for business. Bottom line is Easy Webinar blows everything away due to how fantastically flexible it is. Awesome leader. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly how this works. That I got, that I felt I would do a quick Periscope on. It's a question I got on how to create a group coaching program and what to use, because I think that's a big factor. A lot of people are like, I want to do group coaching, but what do I use? Skype? Or, and can it get up to 10 people? No, you can't. Zoom, should I use Zoom? Well, can you get up to 10 people in Zoom? I don't know. I've never tried it. Google Hangouts or YouTube Live? Yes, you can, but then how do you make it private? Well, I use YouTube Live to make it private so that only people that are joining, that only my students see it. Blab? No, I don't do Blab because Blab is public to everyone. And this is for only my students who pay thousands of dollars. So I'm not looking for anyone else to get this. This is just for creating a program so that I can bring people into a kind of a coaching, right, where it's private, right? Instead of doing it live, I'm doing it all online using the power of YouTube Live, integrated with Easy Webinar. So I have people that can consume the content right from the page. I can have them consume the content actually in the conference room where we engage and interact. I can put people in the hot seat inside the conference room, so we focus on one person's business maybe for 30 minutes, then we move to the other person. I can control how many people I want to have muted while that's happening. Other people can interact. Even the people that are coming to this page can interact too, because they can ask questions, right? So there's a question box right there where they can, they can ask a question. And this is just one template out of many, but it allows people, if you don't follow Casey, your head must be filled with flutternutters. That's funny. I love that. But as I said, they can ask questions on any level, my poor head. Any level they can ask questions. So that's how I do it, and then you can rotate people in and out. So, you're not, and then that's a great way to not have it overwhelming in the live conference room. If you have like 40 people in one room all joining in a conference, that's way too much, way too confusing. There's way too much action going on. Controlled setting of having 10 people live in a room. If you have, let's say you have a coaching program with 50 people in there, right? 50 people. You can rotate those 10 every week, right? But everybody still consumes the content. Everybody gets the content. So what I tend to do is I do one live session when I'm doing a coaching that is pure content, no hot seat. But then I do a second in that week that's a hot seat, right? So I put people in the hot seat. So that's a good way to do it. You can keep a long-term membership going with that model, long-term. So because then someone gets into the coaching, the hot seat. So like Amy Jo, I might say, you're going to be in the hot seat coaching next month, okay? So we're going to examine your business next month. Maybe one person gets access to the hot seat every couple months, which is fine, which would be fine because that's one-on-one coaching. Would you say YouTube Live is a little more stable than Google Hangouts? YouTube Live gives you more options than Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts, you can create a Google Hangout inside a YouTube Live event. But YouTube Live, you can also do things and use programs like Wirecast and create multi-camera streams and do all sorts of stuff. So in that regard, I think I think yes, it's not as intuitive and as easy yet as Google Hangouts with that in mind. But I think that to me it gives me more flexibility of doing private events live, private events, rather unlisted events, or open events and things like that. So it's interesting. They're doing a lot of changes, and Ray the Video Guy knows this. They're doing a lot of changes over at YouTube Live, trying to make it easier to do. They just started creating new stuff with it and trying to make it a lot more simplified due to the fact that they see Periscope and Meerkat and all these other live streaming applications that are kicking butt and that are super to use. So they're trying to make it not as difficult. However, here's the thing. YouTube Live has kind of a professional level to it, other than, as opposed to this. Professional level meaning you can have like fade in one camera, fade out the other one, and do all sorts of stuff that you just can't do with this, okay? It's more of like, a lot of people use it to do live stream events. Hey, Jesus, what's up? A lot of big live stream, big events. They'll use YouTube Live and stream the events and have multiple cameras and all sorts of stuff and make it a bigger to do. Like if you ever seen any of those sports events, like soccer or rather football, that happens with YouTube Live, where they have multiple cameras and they're streaming it out. So you have that flexibility. It's just not as simple as something like this. That's why they integrate with Google Hangouts, so you can use YouTube Live's kind of master settings of being able to privatize it, unlist a video and using the tagging and things like that. But you can use Google Hangouts, which is essentially like a broadcast tool inside of it, if that makes more sense, right? It's a little confusing, but once you play with it inside YouTube, because it's all inside YouTube. If you go into your YouTube account, you can see YouTube Live in there, and you can understand kind of what it does. If you go in there, you'll check it out. It will have a lot of cool options for you. So I would definitely check it out. And of course, the bottom line is how I'm using it with our system, with my group coaching, is I use Easy Webinar to get people into the page, and that incorporate with Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, right? Google Hangouts / YouTube Live. That's kind of how I use it. So if you're just getting here now, watch the replay. You get more insight into how I do this and how you can create, hey, what's up, your Healthy Glow, into how you can create essentially a group coaching using these strategies, okay? Group coaching using these type of things that I'm sharing with you. Watch the replay, send some heart love and maybe you are watching right now, and, consider doing this yourself, okay? This is a great idea. Thanks for the insight. Of course, Amy, I just want to give you guys more options because oftentimes, the process of creating a course can take so long. Well, what about creating a course while you are doing a group coaching? So you pay for group coaching. You get people into a group coaching program, right? Maybe 10 people at $2,000 or $1,000, something like that, maybe more, and you take them through a 4-week live training process, which then becomes your coaching, which then becomes your product at the end, right? That's how I do it. A lot of people use GoToWebinar to do this, by the way, FYI, but here's the problem with GoToWebinar. You can't share the people on the other side's screen. So it's just you essentially talking to your group coaching students. All they can do is send chat through. So my thing, the additional level to that, is get up to 10 people live face-to-face where we're talking and communicating, and we can then have a higher level of group coaching than just GoToWebinar, right? It's more interactive. It's me talking to you. It's up to 10 people in the room. We're all sharing this information. I set up from the beginning when I do this. Hey, this is a nurtured group. This is very constructive. Everybody will it's what I call the barn raising technique of group coaching. So we have everybody that offers good feedback on someone's business, and it feels so mastermindy, so for me. It's just really, really powerful. People get tremendous notes, and other people that are watching it learn from it. So it's not just the person in the hot seat, but the people that are giving constructive criticism and feedback. People watching, people sending messages this way to send feedback about the topic. So there's a lot of cool different ways to do it. I can share my screen just like this. I can share me in front of the camera. I can stop all the people from being shown in the film strip below. So I can say, hey guys, I'm going to only share content right now. So I'm going to hide you guys and mute all of you so you can only see the content that I'm doing. If it's going to be a presentation, right? This gives me a lot of flexibility. I like it. That's how I did a program that I sold, $100,000 worth of. And I didn't even create the program first. I created the group coaching, and then I did the group coaching, and then that became a product, right? Or it's actually becoming a product. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, that you can actually create this kind of a group coaching session where it's still you scaling your business. It's not one-on-one coaching. It's one-to-many. It's still group coaching. But you don't also have to create a members area while you're doing this. It can be maybe a private Facebook group where you throw in the replay links and things like that. You can do all of this without having a membership site, okay? It's kind of a little sneaky way to do it. You can do all of this without having any membership platform at all, okay? Just using a private Facebook group, an easy webinar, and Google Hangout / YouTube Live. So, little insight, just a little insight into that. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys. Watch the replay. If you are new here, please do follow me if you like this kind of content. I did an earlier Periscope all about a little bit something different. It was more about like how long does it take to start an online business, and I talked about my story about how it took me, how long it took me to get to the 7-figure mark, and when, where was I initially, and how I went from making $250,000 in a real estate job back in the day to $15,000 the following year. So I had to figure out what to do, and that's when I started making the move online because I was like forced into it. Well worth the time today. You rock, my man. Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much. So again, enjoy, watch the replay, and follow if you're not following, and get more Periscopes like this. I won't do a call to action today. I just wanted to give pure content, and you guys can learn more about me. Just look at my bio. That's the only call to action I'm going to do. Normally I say go to Tribe Minded or blah, 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 but I'm not going to do that right now. I gave enough in this, I think. All right, you guys rock. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Have an awesome day. Okay, I'll put this in the private Facebook group for those in our private Facebook group. Yes, that's right. Alex did it for me, and it's calm, by the way. But I think they probably figured that out. Okay, you guys, thanks so much.